welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's jump right in. What if I told you that a handful of financial decisions you make before you turn 30 could completely dictate the rest of your life? I mean, we're talking about the difference between becoming totally financially free or spending the next 40 years constantly stressing over money. Your 20s are literally the foundation-building years. You're probably earning your first real paycheck, making big, independent choices, and most importantly, locking in habits that are going to stick with you for decades. So today, we're unpacking the ultimate blueprint for early financial freedom.
You know that incredibly common myth that you need a massive, six-figure salary to get rich? Well, the data shows that is absolutely false. Everyday people, earning totally average incomes, are out there quietly building incredible wealth. Meanwhile, there are people pulling in double that salary who are completely trapped in a cycle of debt. Why? Because quiet, everyday choices and consistent habits are the actual foundation of wealth. The problem is most young adults make these massive money mistakes without even realizing the long-term damage until years of prime opportunities have just vanished.
To put this into perspective, let's imagine two friends, friend A and friend B. They start their careers at the exact same age and they earn the exact same salary. Fast forward 20 years, friend A has a solid portfolio of investments, profound financial security, and the freedom to do whatever they want. Friend B, on the other hand, is just suffocating under loans, credit card debt, and chronic stress. Now, the gap between them? It wasn't luck. It wasn't that one was a secret genius. It was literally just the daily and monthly habits they applied to their paychecks.
So to make absolutely sure you end up on friend A's path, we're breaking this roadmap down into 4 key phases: managing your daily spending, protecting against financial disaster, growing your future wealth, and finally, designing your ultimate blueprint. Let's get into it.
Starting off with Phase 1, managing your daily spending. Look, before you can go out and build an empire, you have to control the money actually entering your bank account. And there are 3 huge traps to avoid here. First up is lifestyle creep. This is when you finance an expensive lifestyle, like buying a flashy car instead of beefing up your savings, the very second you get a raise. Doing that instantly sabotages your wealth-building power. Trap number 2 is dodging the B word, a monthly budget. So many people see budgets as a restriction, but they're actually your tool for freedom. A budget puts you in the driver's seat instead of letting your money control you. And the third trap? Piling up credit card debt just to project this fake illusion of success online. We are bombarded by social media pressuring us to look wealthy, but that often comes at the cost of actually being wealthy. Which brings us to this incredible realization right here. True financial success is measured by assets, not by how expensive your lifestyle looks. I mean, talk about hitting the nail on the head. Some of the wealthiest people on the planet live way below their means, but a huge chunk of the people flexing online, they are literally droning in debt. Appearances can be completely misleading.
All right, let's move on to Phase 2, protecting against financial disaster.
Everyday life throws curveballs, right? And without a safety net, you are risking a catastrophic chain reaction. Let's walk through this brutal domino effect. Step 1, boom, a sudden medical bill or a major car repair hits you out of nowhere. Step 2, because you don't have an emergency fund, you're forced into Step 3, swiping that credit card. And that drops you right into the final trap, compounding high-interest debt. That interest grows so much faster than your savings ever could. Having an emergency fund is the only thing that stops this vicious cycle dead in its tracks.
And while we're playing defense, we've got to talk about another massive risk: relying entirely on a single source of income. In today's economy, it's basically walking a tightrope without a net. Job security just isn't what it used to be. Companies downsize, industries change overnight. If you depend on just one paycheck, you are always just one piece of bad news away from total financial disaster. Building up side incomes, whether that's a side hustle, freelancing, or investments, gives you an absolute rock-solid foundation of stability.
Okay, defensive walls are built. Time to go on the offensive with Phase 3, growing your future wealth. This entire phase relies on one magical concept: compound growth. Simply put, it's earning returns on your initial investment plus the accumulated interest over time. Why is this such a game changer for young adults? Because your absolute biggest superpower right now is time. Time is what lets this snowball effect do all the heavy lifting, multiplying your money exponentially over the years.
But here's the huge mistake people make. They let that precious time slip away because they falsely believe they need a giant bag of cash just to start investing. Math tells a totally different story, guys. Consistency absolutely crushes starting capital. A small, consistent amount planted early is almost always going to rocket past some huge lump sum that you wait a decade to invest.
And right in that same vein is the mistake of putting off retirement planning because it just feels so incredibly far away. When you're in your 20s, retirement feels like an abstract concept. But waiting to save for it? That is a massive unforced error. Even small contributions today have an exponential impact on how you'll live later. If you start early, you literally have to put in less of your own hard-earned money because compound growth steps in and does the rest of the work for you.
Which brings us to our final pillar, Phase 4, designing your ultimate blueprint.
If you want to sustain wealth, you have to upgrade your personal operating system. Think about it. We spend years in school, but we're rarely taught how taxes, insurance, or investing actually work. Prioritizing your own financial education is absolutely crucial. And once you have that knowledge, you've got to tie it to a clear target. Maybe that's buying a house, launching a business, or retiring at 40. Because if you don't give your money a purpose, you leave yourself incredibly vulnerable to impulsive spending.
So we've walked through 10 massive money mistakes today. And the really cool takeaway here is that avoiding these pitfalls doesn't require a genius-level IQ, and it definitely doesn't require a trust fund. It just takes awareness and a little bit of discipline. You do not have to be rich to start building lasting wealth today. Financial success is never just one lucky grand slam. It's the result of thousands of small, smart choices made over time.
I want to leave you with a final thought from our source material today, and it's a powerful one. Right now, you hold an unrecoverable asset, time. Every single smart decision you make today is actively creating a better, freer future for yourself. So the question really isn't whether you can afford to start managing your money wisely, it's whether you can afford not to. Start building your blueprint today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I truly hope this empowers you to go out and take complete control of your financial future.